Alright, sweet, we're live. Hello. This is episode 12 of Grand Slam. We're into the dozens for this wrestling podcast. And for a while now, I've been meaning to do this episode. I mean, I was going to try to do it on Sunday. Didn't do it on Sunday. I got lazy. I was going to do it on Monday, but didn't end up doing it on Monday, so I got lazy on that too. So, you know, this is another one of those vlogs, not vlogs, but shows, well, episodes that I'm going to be talking about WWE's most recent releases. And also on top of that, a gain for AEW, which I will get to that in a minute, even though you already see it in the title. So, the people, basically, I'm going to, Ray had thankfully even as well, put in the list of people that were released as of last week. So, I wanted to go ahead and give my thoughts on all of those people. The first one on this list, is Murphy, or Buddy Murphy. This one I kind of understand a little bit, but at the same time not really. It kind of goes hand in hand because it looked like he was going places with WWE. I mean, as far as being one of Seth's disciples, and also being the cruiserweight champion. But at the same time, I felt like he really wasn't going anywhere after the whole disciple type of deal. But this is actually kind of understandable, and wherever he goes after this, I mean, it should be very interesting. I mean, because I think he could go to AEW, but I think he could also go to somewhere like New Japan or MLW. I mean, you never know. I think most likely he might go to Japan, but I mean, you never know, like I said. So it'll be kind of a surprising type of deal where he goes. Lana is another one that just recently got released. This one I also kind of understand because Lana, she does have, hear me out when I say this, she does have some pretty decent in-ring work. It's not the best, but it's also not the worst. Just the thing that that I think a lot of people may have found the most annoying about her is that she shouted a lot. If you remember that storyline, that love triangle storyline that she was involved in with Bobby Lashley and Miro, formerly known as Rusev, well, at the time. So, and whenever she was like, "You're breaking the law! You're breaking the law!" Whenever Rusev was violating the restraining order on both Rusev and, well, not Lashley and Lana. I mean, she kind of was being a little bit annoying with the yelling. I thought she was kind of going overboard with it. But I mean, I think another thing that I kind of might have confused a lot of people was when she was out of nowhere the sole survivor in last year's Survivor Series. She could have been. I mean, and I listened to somebody talk about that, and their thought was, Lana should not have celebrated. She should have just been confused. It's like, wait, I'm the sole survivor? I'm the sole survivor? Really? Huh. Well, I'll take that win. Instead of just, like, realizing, oh my gosh, I'm the sole survivor? Holy crap, I won! Oh my gosh. Like, that's the thing, you know? I'm thinking it should have been, like, Lana should have been confused about the win at that time, instead of just celebrating it. But, you know, I mean, it's in the past. You can't really fix it now. But, I mean, with Lana's release, I kind of understand that. Santana Garrett, I have no idea who she is. I feel like I've seen her before, but at the same time, I haven't. I don't know. Ruby Riott. This one, I kind of don't understand. Because we were starting to see the Riott Squad start to take off with Ruby Riott herself and Liv Morgan. But now that Ruby's been released, Liv is now a singles star again, and now she's kind of going back to where she was before Ruby came back. So, I mean, I'm excited to see where Liv is gonna go now. I mean, with this singles run, but it sucks that Ruby just got released. I mean, arguably she was doing pretty well. I mean, ever since her return, that is. And, I was actually looking forward to seeing if the Riot Squad would fully reunite. But, I mean, as far as Sarah Logan's case, I have no idea if she was released or not. I don't know. Because I didn't hear anything about her release. But, oh well. But still, Ruby Riott, I mean, it really does suck that she got the boot. As well as these next two people that I'm going to be naming out here. Aleister Black. Why would you release Aleister Black? He had just come back from a pretty decently long absence from WWE television. He comes back with this pretty good, pretty interesting to watch kind of character, and also some of the things that he was bringing to the table, like the stories that he was putting together. I mean, it actually was pretty good. It was good. And then when he came back, I mean, I even saw pictures of like his physical appearance. I mean, he looked more fit. He looked more, his physique, he looked to be in better shape than what he initially was before he took a break for a while. He comes back, he delivers a black mass to Big E, which ultimately saves Apollo Crews from losing the Intercontinental title. And then after that gets released. I mean, I'm not sure what the inspiration was behind that, but I mean, to bring him back for 1 week and then just immediately have him get the boot afterwards, I don't know. But still, I mean, it'll be interesting to see where Aleister Black goes after this. But then you got Braun Strowman. Why? Why would you release one of your top stars in WWE? This man has not only held not only one, but two singles titles within the same year. Not at the same time, the same year. He won the Intercontinental title back in February, I want to say, of last year. And at the same year at WrestleMania, which he originally was not supposed to be in the match, because it was supposed to be Roman Reigns taking on Goldberg for the Universal title. But since Reigns pulled out because of, COVID being such a ridiculously huge deal at the time, and us not knowing a whole lot about it at that particular time, Strowman comes in, gets put over by Goldberg, and becomes Universal Champion for almost 5 months. Which arguably was his best run last year. And then he introduced the Strowman Express kind of deal, where he was still the monster among men, but he was doing the all aboard the Strowman Express, where he no longer was dressing up like a Wyatt family member. He was now dressing up like a train conductor kind of deal, where he was wearing like this kind of like army green looking shirt with the pants and the boots and the gloves and all that. It looked like a really good gimmick. It really did. I was kind of buying into it, like Strowman Express. I thought, regardless of the fact that he actually could still perform. At the time, Braun Strowman and he still is now, is in the best shape of his life, as giant as a mountain of a man that he is. He's still in the best shape of his life. And for that, I mean, and I'm not saying that he got released because of his shape. I'm saying he probably got released because there's so many workers in WWE that the creative team has no idea what to do with them. That's why you're getting so many more people released from the company, is that there's so many of them. You've got no idea what to do with them. So you just send them out. You send them on their way. And maybe one or two of them from this list may come back and be a better version of themselves before they left. That's just me, though. I mean, it's kind of like what Drew McIntyre did when he got released. He put a lot of blame on himself and went to the indies and kicked the ever-living tail out of every single wrestler in every single promotion he ever walked into. ICW, TNA, or Impact Wrestling. Let's see. He was a part of WrestleCon. He was a part of PWG. You know, just to name a few wrestling promotions that Drew McIntyre, as Drew Galloway on the Indies, was doing at the time. You know, he was kicking tail. He comes back, a mountain of a man. It's kind of not as big of a mountain of a man as Braun Strowman, but he's right up there with him. But not as much of a mountain of a man as Braun Strowman was, and is. You know. It is kind of, I mean, it maybe one or two people on this list, I'm probably eyeing Braun Strowman for this. Should he decide if he wants to try to make a comeback to WWE, maybe he could do something. Maybe he could go to the indies and start setting the indie scene on fire, and maybe that'll catch WWE's eye and they'll want him back. Maybe I could probably look at the same thing for maybe Aleister Black, maybe Ruby Riott, maybe Murphy. I don't know about Santana Garrett or Lana, though. I don't know, but I mean, I'm just throwing things out there at this point. So, you know, I mean, you can take it with a grain of salt or you can leave it. I mean, however you choose to take it. The next thing I want to talk about is Andrade. Now, we know that Andrade was granted his release from WWE a few months back. And we hadn't really heard much about Andrade or had heard much from him until he made a promo challenging Kenny Omega at Triple Mania, which I think Kenny is holding a AAA championship or something, I think. I don't know. But he's getting challenged at Triple Mania by Andrade, and a lot of people are saying that Andrade is the man to dethrone Kenny Omega. So then I think this leads over to him making his AEW debut, his shocking AEW debut, which nobody saw that coming. I didn't even see that coming until I saw that in my feed. I'm like, wait a minute, is that Andrade at AEW? Okay, that is interesting. So, you know, now Andrade is a part of AEW, and there's a chance that Andrade could dethrone Kenny Omega. I mean, a lot of people are hyping him up, saying that he's the guy to do it, so we're just going to have to find out. But anyways, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. I mean, 15 minutes, that's not too bad. But also at the same time, I would also like to get some recording done and maybe get a couple videos uploaded in the process. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Thank you guys a lot for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you have not considered subscribing yet, I recommend you do so and to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And that about does it for me. I'll see you in the next one.